Hello ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. I'm going to be commentating a game for you today between WhiteRa and BeastyQT. So this is a Terran versus Protoss. We are starting this series out on Tal Daramalter. Definitely looking forward to this matchup. Loving this TVP action we have been having going on for the past couple of days. Yeah, it has been too long, I'm sorry, but I couldn't pass up this game between WhiteRa and Mr. BeastyQT. So as you can see here, WhiteRa spawning as the red Protoss here in the top position, and in the bottom right position we do of course have BeastyQT as the yellow Terran. Tal Daramalter, really nice map. I actually do quite enjoy. We tend to see at least somewhat macro heavy games on this map. They don't really end in early rushes typically, just because of the size of the map, and that's kind of the general case for basically all games nowadays, just because of the map pool currently being so large in general. There's definitely been a lot going on. I've been doing a lot of commentaries. I'm going to try to make a strategy video after this series for you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to actually get that published today. If not today, it should be out tomorrow. And then maybe I'll actually do 2 strategy videos. I'll do like a back-to-back kind of deal. And then besides that, you know, we got all that other stuff going on, some Diablo stuff. There's a Diablo t-shirt giveaway. If you haven't seen that already, go ahead and check out that video. No reason not to enter and give yourself a chance. Also, make sure you tell people about it, as I mentioned in the video. The more participation that we can get in these giveaways, the more frequently we will actually be able to do them, and as such, the better chance you'll have of actually winning something. Looks like BeastyQT is going to be going pretty standard fare so far. Now we can see, taking a look at WhiteRa, nothing yet, no gateway. It doesn't look like he's going to get one. In fact, I'm expecting a expo because of that rally point here. His probe is going to be headed on over, and then he's going to be dropping an expansion. So look at that, very risky play here by WhiteRa. But in all honesty, this is something you are seeing more and more frequently on the professional level. Lots of players going for very, very fast expansions, simply because, again, like I mentioned just a few moments ago, the size of the maps nowadays, and just the way the general metagame is nowadays, you just tend to see longer games. That is just the way it is. Now, again, we have to keep in mind, if for some reason BeastyQT went for a 3 racks Marine Marauder push and was moving out at like between 5 and 7 minutes, WhiteRa would probably pretty much be screwed. But chances are he's not going to do that, so WhiteRa should be okay with that relatively late army. We can right now trying to push in here with the probe, and he actually does manage to get it in. What he's checking right now, of course, is for the gas. He also wanted to see if there are any attachments over there. So he sees just the one refinery. He also sees no attachment on the barracks, so he's thinking, well, he could very well be going for an expo. Not entirely sure. We can see BeastyQT just now dropping that reactor, so going to be pumping out early heavy Marines, and he still may very well be going for an expo in the not too distant future. Taking a look over here, WhiteRa's expo just about up. Does have that gateway finish right there. There's a second gateway there as well. Just a little insurance, just in case he did see early pressure. It would allow him to pump out some a little bit extra zealots in the early game. And taking a look over here, BeastyQT is in fact going to spot WhiteRa at the very last possible moment. He has scouted the 2 other possible bases. He's going to be moving on to the 3rd, and there's that expo as expected from BeastyQT. So yeah, like I mentioned, this is just what you're seeing nowadays. Players are just expanding as what they're doing. They're playing econ friendly early on in the game, and that's it's been working pretty well for the most part. So yeah, they're going to be interested to see after this point in the game precisely what both players are going to be going for. I'd like to see if WhiteRa is going to get additional gateways, or if he is in fact going to tech up to Robo. I'm almost going to expect a Robo next, allowing him to get out an observer and then scoot that right on over to BeastyQT's base to get some scouting information. Of course, that is what it is meant for. So there you go. You can see the SCV has in fact scouted that expo. He knows precisely what's going on. He's going to be headed back home. But at least now BeastyQT has a better idea as to what he is up against. Marines moving on down, actually going to try to take a free snipe of that probe scout, but the probe scout managing to sneak away on the right side, and those Marines, they shouldn't even bother chasing. Actually going to try to catch him from both angles. 2 Marines head up there, the other 2 moving in this direction. There's a zealot chasing those 2 Marines from behind, but these 2 Marines are going to take out this probe. No problem. Is he going to be able to? Is he going to sneak it away? No, he does not. It gets dropped. Zealot trying to move on in, deciding, hey, I should head back home. I'm probably not going to be able to do too much against these 3 Marines, especially with those other 2 Marines right around the corner. We do have this one stalker up. I don't really think that WhiteRa is in any position to push right now. BeastyQT asking if there is some lag. I am not sure, my friend. I am not sure. He's saying no. WhiteRa's like, no, there is no lag. What's wrong with you? Way too funny. WhiteRa still hasn't gotten anything besides the 2 gateways. There is a Twilight Council. So DT and or Blink Stalkers are likely in our near future. Trying to move forward. WhiteRa is actually going to try to take out that SCV. Is he going to be able to? Very, very close. No. Going to be forced to push away. Needs to be careful. The Marines are not chasing for this very reason, that the Stalker is faster. And without any Marauders with Concussive Shell, there's pretty much no point. So that's why those Marines kind of just chilled back here. BeastyQT going very barracks heavy. Got another barracks coming. Actually going for another Expo. Look at that. BeastyQT expanding very hard. Just going to rely on this early game bio, and he's just planning, hey, that's all I'm going to really need. I'm not too concerned about too much early pressure. He does have this 1 bunker, and he's okay against this small force here from WhiteRa. Let's take a look inside of WhiteRa's base. We do see that robotics facility, of course, for the observer. 3 gateways right now, and there's that Twilight Council. And what is coming next? Is he getting the research, or is he getting a Dark Shrine? It's going to happen sometime soon, my friends. I would have to imagine he's going to do something with that Twilight Council. Just going to be a moment until we find out exactly what it is. BeastyQT, again, very barracks heavy. There is that next Expo, so a very, very fast third. And here comes the Dark Shrine from WhiteRa, hidden up there in the top corner. And I am loving this play from WhiteRa, trying to catch BeastyQT off guard. Let's take a look. Does he have any chance at even any cloak detection? Besides those scans, no, not really. He doesn't have that engineering base, so he's not going to be placing down turrets. BeastyQT, again, just going to be pumping out that bio, still without a factory. And if this is, of course, due to the fact that he did go for this really fast third Expo. So there you have it. Now we can see over here, WhiteRa is going to be looking to get a third Expo for himself as well, albeit a little bit later than BeastyQT's, but I don't think that is anything WhiteRa is aware of quite yet. He does just get that observer out in play right now, so that's going to be headed on over and scouting out BeastyQT's base, although it would just be, I mean, he'd have to kind of get lucky if he's checking to scout this possible third, because there is no reason why he would necessarily do that. He's going to check this third. This is the most likely third to be taken, but honestly, in all honesty though, against a Terran player, I would, as a Protoss player, check this third as well, given the fact that liftoff is going to make that for an easy Expo. SAV manages to sneak on in. Is he gonna catch a Dark Shrine? I don't think so. No. Gets dropped just a few feet away from that Dark Shrine. We do have that Templar archives there as well, and I'm really looking forward to that Dark Shrine finishing. There it is. So we're gonna be seeing some Warpins sometime soon. Observer checking that possible third and headed back home. So WhiteRa not aware at this point of this third of BeastyQT. BeastyQT, as mentioned before, just pumping out this bio. That is all he is really doing at this point. Finally getting a factory. There's that reactor, and there's that expected starport. So you're going to be getting some double medevacs and probably a double Vikings as well. Observer heading on back through. We do have a Warp Prism with 3 DT, 4 DT in fact. That one just is unsheathed there for his weapon. but man, oh man, this is going to be a little bit devastating. I would have to imagine those. I wonder if he's going to warp in anymore as well. So dropping the DT, bringing them right on in. They're going to head straight for the mineral line. This 4th one's going to go for the Expo over here, and this is not good at all. BeastyQT is going to take so many losses. DT just shredding through that resource line. There's that 1 DT chilling out over there, and the whole army of BeastyQT is just hanging out over here. What exactly is he doing besides getting destroyed by these DT? Scan going down, going to take out that one right there. These 2 just going to head on back out of that scan range. Now keep in mind, BeastyQT does have 3 orbital commands to drop scans, so he should be able to get enough, but not before taking damage. There we go, dropping down that 1. He gets that 2nd DT. Yes, he does. There's still just the 1 DT, although we have a couple more warping in right now. DT going to be heading its way on over. We do have that 1 observer checking out over there. DT is going to be going for that resource line. We do have that missile turret just about finished. Another DT going to go back over here. There are 2, in fact, working on supply depots over there. Scan going down. Going to drop down this DT. I don't know if he actually got any kills. He may have got 1 or 2. Might be losing the supply depot unless he manages to repair it. Actually going to be going straight for the bio here, doing lots of damage to these units. BeastyQT is not having a good time right now. I guarantee it. This is not good at all. He is just kind of walking around. He does not have enough scan energy. He needs to keep his guys over here and needs to actually walk in here once he has enough energy to scan. Otherwise, he's just taking losses. Again, the DT just shredding through those units. What is he doing? Just walking on down, taking so many losses. There we go. Raven comes into play. Sorry, I missed that. I was a little caught up in the action. Didn't even realize that thing was building. Now that the Raven is play, his home base should be pretty much all set against these DT. He's just got to kind of walk around and mop things up. Let's take a look at those units. Lost tab. WhiteRa killing 19 workers, 23 units total. So BeastyQT has definitely taken some heavy losses here. Now he is going to have to respond with something, and WhiteRa has spotted this third, so I'm actually going to expect some more DT to walk on down here. Even with this turret with no offensive forces, it's not going to be that easy to defend. Needs to be careful walking right into the turret. doesn't manage to get away, but at least he was fully confirmed of that expo. Stalker trying to walk down. Not a whole lot that he's going to do. Now, we are going to see a counter push from BeastyQT. The main reason being not necessarily because he's in an amazing position, but because he has to do something. He took a lot of losses. Again, let's take a look at that loss tab. 19 workers killed, and BeastyQT realizes, hey, I've got to do something right here, or else I am just completely boned. Because without taking that heavy losses and not responding at all, and not even hurting your opponent's economy, again, WhiteRa has been fine. WhiteRa has this third up now. He hasn't taken any losses. His economy's been just going steady, and again, not doing any damage after taking losses like that is going to put you in a worse position than you already are. And actually, it does look like BeastyQT is, in fact, going to be headed back home. I don't know. He's just kind of dancing around. Is he getting any more DT harass? No, it doesn't look like he is right now. So just kind of moving his units around. Wants to take map control of the center. He does have, of course, both these out. Well, this guy, if he moved over like 5 feet, he would have this Zelnaga tower too, but he's very close to having all these Zelnaga towers, getting a good idea of what's going on in the middle. We do have this one probe moving on across, and because he doesn't have the Zelnaga tower, he's not going to scout that probe moving across. Unbelievable. We do have this one Marine though, and that is actually going to catch the probe, but that just goes to show you, make sure you have your guys on the Zelnaga, because if it wasn't for this Marine, WhiteRa would have been actually just fine moving out for an expo over here. He's going to drop it anyways. He doesn't even care about this one Marine. WhiteRa feeling pretty bold, dropping that expo regardless of the fact that BeastyQT clearly saw it. BeastyQT going to be moving in to get his fourth right here, and obviously here is that fourth of WhiteRa. Now, we haven't looked at WhiteRa's base in a while. What does he have? He's got a lot of zealots. Does he have charge coming? Yes, he does. That charge just about finished. Also got that level 1 upgrade in armor working its way on through. Lots of high Templar. So as we can see, WhiteRa taking advantage of all that DT harass to work on his upgrades, to work on some higher tech. Again, we do of course have those high Templar into play. They are sitting on a lot of energy that would tear through that bio. Now we've got 3 ghosts coming into play though. Right away, those ghosts will not have enough energy to EMP, but after a little while they should have just enough. Now we are moving down. We are seeing WhiteRa move down onto the third expo of BeastyQT, and this is not looking good at all. These few zealots going to get caught out of position. Needs to be careful not to run too far away from these high Templar. We may be seeing an engagement right now. That charge is finished. Those upgrades are still a bit away, and we do have actually upgrades just about finished here for BeastyQT. So BeastyQT in terms of upgrades is going to be in the lead right here. Zealots charging in and just tearing through all of these SCVs, doing so much damage. Going to force that lift off there. Stalkers could move forward and try to do some damage. He's not going to kill that orbital command, but he has successfully stopped all mining from this third. And actually, BeastyQT hasn't managed to drop this third yet. He just doesn't really have those resources. He's been working on his army instead. And we are seeing a push right now from BeastyQT. Now, WhiteRa's army is completely out of position. So what is going to happen? BeastyQT moving right on into the main. At the same time, WhiteRa is going to be going out for a counterattack. We may very well be seeing a base trade right here. BeastyQT target firing down this robo to stop any more robotics units from coming into play, and this is not looking good for WhiteRa. He's going to take heavy losses. WhiteRa actually not going for the base trade, going to head back home to try to mop up these forces, and this is very dangerous. WhiteRa going to take a lot of losses, but look at these DT going to work here on these units. Where is that cloak detection? Nowhere to be found. There we go, dropping a scan, so getting rid of those DT. Now WhiteRa's taking such heavy losses. Big storms going down. We got a couple charge zealots going to work their way on in. We do have those reinforcements coming from the opposite side. I think WhiteRa is going to be okay, but he has taken quite a few losses, lost quite a few pylons. I think he lost a few gateways as well. We can see BeastyQT still has some of these units alive. He is in fact going to lift off a few and try to get away. Very low HP here on these medevacs. So one stalker, is he going to be able to target fire down some of these? I think he may be able to. That gets that one. Is going to get a second one. Yes, he does. So there you have it. A nice attack from BeastyQT, managing to do a ton of damage, but was it enough? That is the main question. We can see WhiteRa is in fact going to be repowering his buildings over here, probably getting a few more gateways as well to make up for what he has lost. We do have that one medevac that is filled with units that is so low. Now, BeastyQT again is fully aware of this expo, so he's actually going to go just head straight there and try to take that out. We can see WhiteRa trying to prepare for that. It's going to drop down that pylon, so hopefully he can warp in some units. Is the Stalker going to manage to catch it, though? This would be very unfortunate for BeastyQT. WhiteRa Stalker just barely out of the range to actually be able to attack it. It's not going to catch it before it drops. Is he going to drop in time? There's one shot. Does he get the third shot off? Manages to kill one unit in there. Pylon is in, and there is a warp in, and there you go. These units here for BeastyQT are all but dead. Those are all zealots. Charge zealot's going to catch up. Very low HP units, so that's pretty much no problem. Charge zealot's going to mop those up very quickly. Nice defense there by WhiteRa. Here we can see BeastyQT trying to get up this third mining base. He was trying to move down over here, but this one DT actually prevented him from landing. The Marauder trying to move on over to help, and unfortunately without that cloak detection does get dropped very quickly. So again, we did see that push from BeastyQT. He managed to do quite a bit of damage in all honesty, but at the same time he lost all of his forces. So was it really worth the trade-off? That is the question. Taking a look at the actual unit lost here, we have had 97 units killed from WhiteRa, only 51 from BeastyQT, and only 10 of which have been workers. So clearly WhiteRa is in the dominant position in terms of the amount of damage that has been dealt. Even with those loss of buildings, I think WhiteRa is definitely in a stronger position. We can see, of course, WhiteRa does have this base up and running over here. Going to be transferring over a few of his workers, kind of working up his army. Let's take a quick look at that army tab. They're about even right now, but I'm going to say overall WhiteRa is in the best position. WhiteRa actually floating a crap ton of resources. I'm going to attribute that mainly to the fact that he lost a few production buildings from that attack. Now, I think those are going to be taken care of very quickly. We can see Colossus making their way on through out of these 3 robos, and he did get up those additional gateways as well. As he got that thermal lance? Yes, he does, so he is all set. Yeah, BeastyQT not looking in the best position right now. I'm not really sure what he could do to come back at this point. He's going to want to try to do a little bit more harass. I mean, he is just trying to work up his army now. We're going to see WhiteRa surpass the army count. And look at that. That's the wrong one. We're going to see WhiteRa surpass the army count. They are about tied right now. But, again, WhiteRa does have a stronger mining right now. We can see that big resource advantage. And he also has a lot more production buildings to work with than what BeastyQT actually has and what he can afford as well. So it's only a matter of time until WhiteRa is going to surpass the army count here of BeastyQT. And then he should pretty much have no problem defending against this push. Now, there are a lot of Vikings in play, and that's, of course, going to work really well against these Colossus, but keep in mind, we do have some High Templar on the board. Maybe just that one, actually. I think he got rid of most of them. No, there is 4 High Templar in play, also warping in a couple more Zealots there. Nice storm going down, trying to blanket and do a little bit of damage before those forces actually push in, and another storm going down. Look at that on the bio. EMP taking out all of the energy, though. They're going to force those to try to turn into an Archon, pushing forward. Vikings trying to target find on this Colossus, get them down very quickly. Those Charge Zealots, though, are so overwhelming for that bio army, and even with that move shoot ability with those stim-packed units, it's very hard to get away from those Charge Zealots, especially when they outnumber you so much. So there you go, BeastyQT forced to call it a good game. Now, this is a 3-game series, so we'll be moving on to game number 2 in just one moment. Remember, if you guys like the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to take a look at that Diablo 3 t-shirt giveaway that we've got going on right here on this channel. And as always, guys, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe. I think I just said that, but keep watching and keep owning.